Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. I'm going to be reading from Leviticus chapter 14, all the way 33, all the way through 57, and making some comments. Please follow along with me in your Bible. I will be coughing, having a lot of coughing this morning, so please try to bear with that. Okay, let's begin in Leviticus chapter 14, verse 33 to 57. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in the house of the land of your possession, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, It seemeth to me that there is as it were a plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to see the house. He shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house, with hollow strakes, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house, and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again the seventh day, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, and the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. He shall cause the house to be scraped within round about. They shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place. And they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones. He shall take other mortar and shall plaster the house. If the plague come again and break out in the house, after that he have taken away the stones, after he has scraped the house, after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a fretting leprosy in the house, it is unclean. He shall break down the house and the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house, and he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all that while that is shut up, shall be unclean until even. And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes. He that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. If the priest shall come and look upon it, and behold, the plague hath not spread in the house, after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. He shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. He shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. He shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and the running water. Sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, with the running water, and with the living bird, with the cedar wood, with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. He shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open field, and make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scall, and for the leprosy of a garment and of a house, and for a rising and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean, and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Okay, this passage shows the word leprosy is applied to more than just Hansen's disease. It is also applied to what is probably mildew and mold in a house. I pointed out earlier not to read back modern definitions into words that were understood differently than we do today in either 2000 BC or 1611 AD. As Canaanites were driven from their homes, there would have been instances where dampness and vacancy resulted in contamination. We know that mold caused by a fungus can cause sickness from mild eye irritation all the way to shortness of breath and fever. We also know that certain types of molds can produce mycotoxins that can lead to death. The danger of driving out the Canaanites too quickly was noted by God elsewhere, Deuteronomy 7:22. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. For God's favorable response to this physical and ritual uncleanness, the ceremony to be performed is clearly laid out. It was a matter of the utmost importance for the Hebrews' obedience and for their health. We might find some of these things odd, but so did the people of that era. Note Naaman, the captain of the host of the king of Syria, and his reaction to Elisha's remedy for his leprosy. Read 2 Kings 5:1-14, and understand that this result was totally the hand of God and not because of some magical healing quality of the river. Obedience was required, then God's response. Let's go there. 2 Kings 5:1, start there. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, Would God my Lord were that the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. And one went in and told his lord, saying, Thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. He departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, Am I God to kill and make alive? And this man doth send unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. And it was so, when Elisha the man of God had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, Wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come down to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth and went away and said, Behold, I thought, he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper. Are not Abana, and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee do some great thing, wouldst thou not have done it? How much rather then when he saith to thee, Wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. And his flesh came again unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. This should give us some understanding of some several passages in the Bible and their meaning. For instance, was there some magic knowledge giving property of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil in Genesis? Or was the knowledge that was attained simply choosing to obey God or disobey him? People pondering the kind of fruit that must have hung from that tree perhaps missed the point. It's about obedience, not an apple, a fig, or a grape. If you eat the fruit and disobey, God is saying, the one thing I don't want you to do, that disobedience will kill you. You will begin dying. And so beware of the kind of daft reasoning that makes Christians search for a large fish that can swallow a man whole, and then relying on questionable accounts from sensational news stories that are unverified to prove their point, and in their minds underscore the truth of the Bible in the book of Jonah. The truth is that God prepared that fish to swallow Jonah, and there's no point looking for a species that can fit the bill. Jonah 1:17. Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. So those are just some thoughts on this passage in Leviticus. I'm going to stop there and pick it up in chapter 15 next. And hope you'll read your Bible, study your Bible, cross-reference the verses, and pray to God for wisdom and understanding. Now, if you thought and then share your interpretation with somebody else. If you thought the descriptions to now were fairly gross, wait till you get into chapter 15 and beyond, and you're gonna hear some stuff that will be kind of like ugh. So anyway, thank you.